You're never busier than on holiday. So, yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Very true.
I struggle to carve out time for this recording, but it's nice with a mental break.
When
Take that
this
as
is
you may.
With a break from being mental, or
As
when
I
this
said,
is your mental break, you've got bigger problems.
I think the word at the end got lost there. Down, mental breakdown.
okay.
Yeah.
Right. This is your weekly scheduled mental breakdown. Eight o'clock on a Tuesday, mental breakdown. Just how we like it.
The question is that it's chicken and egg, isn't it? Did the mental breakdown or the podcast come first?
Well, I didn't know you before the podcast, so I didn't know how well you were coping with life before all of this shenanigans.
And now you're stuck with him.
Not
Have you made it better or worse? That's the big question.
uh, it's been so long I can't remember, but
I think I have to ask your
I
wife.
can't believe not better, but uh,
Not better, just different.
I speaking of mental breakdowns, I know that I do not cope well with heat, but I also realize I get angrier when it's hot, which
Yeah.
means I need to go to bed earlier to have enough sleep to compensate for that. Because if I'm in a bad mood and I haven't slept enough and I'm hungry I'm not a pleasant person to be around. So I need to have enough sleep, enough to eat. But it's weird that I keep going to bed earlier and earlier, but I'm just getting more tired. But I'm blaming the heat. It's insufferable, or insufferable, no, insufferable. Yeah, and it's only getting worse.
Yep.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah,
It is too bad. It's horrible and hateful, and I don't like it.
So what are you gonna do about it?
I'm gonna
Complain.
complain. I'm gonna write to my MP in the strongest possible terms and say, "Here, what you gonna do about it?" Nothing is the answer that's going to come back from that. But
I was reading that is it Count Binface? Um,
yes, Count
he,
Binface.
he needs a set of amount of people to propose him as an MP for him to be able to run, and then he could have that on his manifesto, right? He's going to do something about the heat. Then he would get all the people. I'm guessing at this point.
I think so. I think they're pretty much desperate for any kind of action. But what is the action? There is none. You know the permaculture nutters were telling us about this in the 70s, and we ignored them.
Yeah.
And here we are,
Yeah.
boiling alive.
Yeah.
But I'm fascinated, not by the boiling alive, of course, but we'll get back to that. I saw an interview here with a journalist, perhaps, not sure, but we all know that the British has a special kind of humor, and it comes to show when the general public was asked to name a new boat. We all know Boaty McBoatface, and then someone just like, no, we can't name it that, and it became the Sir David Attenborough research vessel, if I remember correctly. But how is it that if, let's say, Binface get not only chosen as an MP, but or I mean, yes, also like voted in as an MP, could they then say no, this is not serious, and they could just reject it, or is this so legislated that if he get voted in, there's nothing they can do.
Yeah, they can immediately resign and force another by-election. And a by-election is not cheap. It costs the taxpayer about £300,000, and that's a cheap one.
Each taxpayer?
Now that would be something.
Yeah.
No, we're not in Norway. We haven't got quite that level of taxation.
Yeah.
The taxpayer as a whole, as a unitary whole.
But I'm going to be full disclosure here. I know nothing about British politics. I don't even know what an MP really do. But I saw an interview here with that Farage fella, and as I understood, he was the only one running, and then he was quitting his job to force a by-election. But if he's the only one they can vote for, that's just like, he talked about resigning because he wanted the people to elect the MP so that this was a full democracy. But surely he knows he was the only one signed up. So I mean, it's, or how does this work? And over to you, Phil, at Phil's political corner thingamabob.
And my exceptional knowledge of British politics, which is it fits on the back of the same stamp that goes with football and wine. But
it's a hell of a lot bigger stamp than mine or Haavard. So
yeah, as long as no one touches a camera wire or something, you should be good to go.
Very long story short, Mr. Farage is the leader of a far-right opposition group called Reform UK.
yes.
He has been basically a thorn in the side of the establishment for quite some years. He ran the Brexit Party, and then he ran the something else party, and before that he was in UKIP. Basically, he chops and changes more often than he changes his tie. He's been the head or a face of God knows how many right wing, throw out anyone who isn't rich and brown parties. And he has been hauled over the coals by the Parliamentary Standards Commission, I think it's called, about just where he's being bankrolled from. And he has received several £1 million of questionable money, which he says is not questionable at all. It was a private gift, etc., etc. And some of them came from a crypto billionaire in South Africa and someone else who's got links with various other shady organizations, and it's all been undeclared or not declared properly. And now
Didn't that guy write a book where how to bribe a politician was one chapter?
That's one of them. How to buy a politician, not bribe them. How to buy a politician. So now he's on the ropes, and he's decided to right. I'm gonna resign, and we're gonna have another by-election, and we'll let the people decide. It's me against the establishment. And yet he is quite very establishment because he's got lots of money and lots of private backing and private donors, etc. Hopefully he's finished, but like all of these things, you cut off one head, 3 more appear.
Yeah, they're like cockroaches.
The unflushable turd.
Pretty much, because originally it was just him standing, and he was going to walk the election. All the major parties said, we're not going to play this game. This is a publicity stunt, because basically he's being investigated. But if he resigns, he can't be investigated because he's not an MP.
Yeah.
But if he gets re-elected, then the person doing the investigation said, right, well, if you get elected again, then we will absolutely carry on our investigation. And this whole thing goes on and on and on. But down in Clacton, now Clacton is not a wealthy area. It is it's a seaside town that got left behind in the 1960s, and there's lots of high employment and general bitterness towards everywhere else, as most of these small towns that are dead and dying are. Same across the country, and in those places, right wing takes hold quite easily. and now it's him, Farage, it's Binface, but now two other people have sprung up and said they're going to throw their hat in the ring, and they're even further right wing.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So it's just a bit of a shit show, really. But we'll see what happens.
I mean, it is fun watching from the ways sidelines, and as Howard said, not really understanding what's happening. It seems like you have a lot of fun with your elections and
Well, the
a
summer
lot
is
of problems.
the summer is generally silly season in politics because most of the politicians are about to go on summer recess. And that's why Rachel Reeves said, because Rachel Reeves is the Chancellor of the Exchequer and she gets to decide whether Mr. Farage could actually resign, because then she has to free up the funds to run a by-election. So it's really up to her whether he gets to resign or not.
So she can not let him resign, and then they can do the investigation.
Well, they've let him resign, and no other major party is placing a candidate because they're not going to be in that race because they don't want to involve themselves in it. And that's where that wonderful quote comes from. You know, if Mr. Farage wants to spend the summer arguing with a bin, I'm not going to stop him.
Well, what?
Rachel Reeves is a lot of things, but I didn't know she was a comedian.
Yeah. What if they let him resign, but they just don't know there's no funds for the by-election?
You would have to ask someone who knows about these things about that one. I don't know.
So,
and this is not a political podcast. So
yes, we painted us into a corner here, and then we can use the paint to segue out to. Have you painted anything this week, KJ?
No, I have not painted anything. How about you, Har?
No, haven't. Well, that's not true. I've done some painting. I've finished the red stripes on my hardware store, and by doing so, I finished the build and published a video. So it's out there, which is nice.
It is.
So now I don't need to keep it tidy for the video anymore. Now I can start using it as a hardware store. So it's going to be a shit show from here.
So how much stuff is already piled on top of and in front of it?
Not as much as one might thought, because I needed to move all that stuff to bring them in front of the camera for making the thumbnail. So I haven't put them back yet. But they are there, and they are surrounded by a lot of other bins because I'm migrating stuff into the hardware store, and that's gonna take a while. And then it's the indexing part of it. But I'm going to fill it up to about 80% at least, and then I'm going to take pictures of all the bins, and then I'm going to wait for a rainy day or a darker time or whatever. I'm not going to spend the summer sitting inside in an Excel spreadsheet and making the indexing sheet.
So how far along are you filling up the bins with what you have on hand?
Well, the scary thing is there's stuff in all of them, but they're not full, and I'm printing as fast as I can these half bins because one entire assortment box was spade connectors, but once I printed enough of these half boxes, I could make it into half the space. So then that is the way with a lot of it, like nuts and bolts and so on. I don't have thousands of each, so I just need the smaller bins. And then I think I will have still some spare. But you can always order more, I guess.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's what the 20% extra space is for.
Yes. I don't have 20% extra space. So we'll see. I have to cut the end of the table I made off if I'm going to have another rack of storage.
But I mean, you don't know how much you will use in that sort of thing before you've used it for half a year or something like that. So
No, that's true, and I have like a trillion pipettes. I have syringe needles, and I can fill up easily one assortment box with just glue spatulas because I ordered a million of them from AliExpress for £2.50. So I have still some boxes with deep storage. So I have some there, but I have a backup with
yeah, but how much do you need on hand in the hardware store? Because you don't need 10 of something. You might need if they're identical.
no. And that's the thing though. I don't need a lot at hand in the hardware store. The biggest surprise was that how much room all my electronics parts take up, because it's diodes, it's capacitors, it's radio tubes, whatnot. It's, and once you want to sort those into bins, it takes a lot of space. But it's also
Yep.
nice to have that. That is the kind of components that you need a system, because if you're going to have to go through just one big bucket of capacitors, you're never going to find the one you need when you need it, before you lose your mind.
Yeah, that's more or less my system for small electronics parts, which is why I seldom do it.
Yeah.
Call back to an older episode. So you need to keep just a few things in each of the boxes, and then you need your assistant in their brown coat, who every morning goes through all the boxes and looks at what you've used, and then goes to the deep storage and replenishes
Yes.
your crates.
Yes. That is true. And I did not realize this, but the indexing system that I made is an old. I don't know what you could call it. It's two wheels, and you scroll a piece of paper. It takes a lot more time to scroll it than I think, and it was finicky to tape together that paper roll. Usually, like on a belt sander, you take the side off and you slide it in sideways, and you put the side panel back on. Here, you have to like cut it in half and put it down, and so once it's on, I don't really want to swap it. So maybe not as user friendly, but as you said, KJ, it's nicer with this old style, because I could of course just drop down a LCD screen and have it digitized. And of course, Mellow Labs has a system. Mangesysleren also said he's working on a system where you can take a picture of the bins and it will analyze what you have there, and it will give you an inventory. So there is room for improvement on my system if I want to go digital in the inventory sorting indexing thing. But I kind of think that if I would go digital, I would do it in the most analog way possible. I'm not sure how familiar you are with Fireman Sam, but whenever there's a fire, the telephone rings, and then there's a fax machine or a telex machine, like, and it comes out a paper that he rips off, and he looks at it, and it's obviously the address. So I would like to have a very advanced system where I need a 3/4 stud wrench something, enter, and it says compute for a few seconds, and then there's a needle writer there, like, and then there's a paper I have to tear off, and the item you are seeking is in bin A4, section 3. And then
So you're gonna have a telephone connected, so you lift lift it and speak into the telephone and get printed out the answer. That is brilliant.
I mean,
I think you should
if
go
we
even
have
more
to,
obscure. I think you need your assistant. You phone your assistant, and then your assistant goes through a big Rolodex of punch cards and brings you the punch cards, which you feed into the computer,
yeah.
which then spits out an XY location.
I mean,
I mean,
if we I mean, if we have to reconcile actually living with AI, this is what I would use it for. I would have an AI agent,
Yeah.
and it would look like that guy on the computer screen in Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
So I would need a
Solid.
CRT screen and this floating head with a lot of sarcasm, and then I would ask things, and then it would spit it out on a old black
I
and
mean,
white printer.
then you also can use that because AI needs some time to compute and that sort of thing. And you ask it, okay, I'm just gonna go check. And you hear dunk 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 dunk, steps going away, dunk dunk dunk, steps coming back, and then the answer comes.
Yeah.
This thing's right itself.
I need a 3/4 inch left-handed reverse threaded phalange. Are you sure? That's in a drawer that's really, really far away. Are you sure you wouldn't just like a tap or something? I've got a special on spade connectors this week.
That bin is really overflowing. You really should do something with the yellow spade connectors.
But that's the thing, though. We discussed in an earlier episode. Today, you can buy a fridge with a screen on it, and of course, you can buy it cheaper if they're allowed to show advertisements on that screen. But the brilliant thing with that screen is it tells you the inventory of your fridge. If you're running low or something, it can show you need more milk and whatnot. And I thought it's very easy to combine that with AI so that, of course, the fridge keeps inventory, and then it tells you that you're running low on this, and then the cabbage is getting close to its best before date, and it will suggest recipes based on what you have in the fridge that are closing to their expiry dates, so you use it before it goes bad. And that system you could have in the hardware store as well. Combine it with the Lego software, where you take a picture of a pile of Lego, and it tells you what you can build. So it's like, with the parts that I now have in my hardware store, what can I build? And it can just give me a list of projects. You can build one Hoover and a bicycle. Or you can build 2 bicycles, but then you will have some leftover parts, which you can build a doorbell.
I don't know if I want an AI connected to the internet knowing the contents of my fridge so it can shame me. Chicken nuggets again, is it? Really?
It sounds like something for blackmail.
Yeah. And the problem is, if they know exactly what you're eating and at what rate, of course, the stores are going to use that to optimize their inventory. So you can never go to the local shop and then stumble over something or buy that thing that you get just once a year, because they have figured out people just eat bread, milk, and these kinds of spread. So that is what we are selling them. End of story.
Oh, and dynamic pricing as well. So when it recognizes that your Bluetooth signature has come through the door, bing, all the things you buy go up.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not blaming them. If I ran a store, I would easily do that. And there's our neighbor. He has a lot of tenants. He's well in it. So yeah, he's gonna have to pay twice.
Yeah, we used to, a long, long time ago when I worked in an antique shop. Antiques, it's a bit of a push, maybe. He called it an antique shop. It was more akin to a junk shop, but whatever. And there was always a bit of leeway on the pricing because everything was secondhand and, no VAT. But there was always a bit of leeway on the pricing. And at some days, it really did come down to how much of an arsehole are you being about it, to how much money I'm going to give you off. I know how much I can discount whatever item. but how much am I really going to discount this for you? Yeah.
I we had a local. Well, in Norway we call them a sports store, but in the UK that's just football stuff. So, but in it's an outdoor store. We can get all the skis and climbing equipment and whatnot. And we had one in the relatively small place that I'm from. It was a branch of a big chain, and the guy was running it was a really nice guy. And then they told him that they're going to just shut down this branch, so he was going to be out of a job. So he was told to just run the store until they got the final details, and he was pissed. So he sold everything at extremely discounted rates. He did not give a flying fuck. And I remember we got skis, and it's all he almost took money out of the register to give us while we took the skis out of the store. It was insane. And that's what you get for just like, all right, you're losing your job, and I'm not putting any effort in. So.
This is my job. Okay, fine. We'll see how much this store takes in its last few weeks.
Yeah.
Why is this number in the negative? Well, we had some really shitty stock left over, so basically I was just paying people to take it away.
I mean, you have to do that anyway when you're closing a store. Everything that's
Yeah.
left, you have to pay to get rid of. So, yeah, he could probably argue that. So, how about you then? Have you made anything, or are you making anything?
I am in the early stages of making the Eurocart crate rolling cabinet crafting station monster that this thing is becoming.
Is there an acronym in there that you really didn't see, or
At the moment,
are you still working on that
at
one?
the moment it's just scope creep monster. Because what started out as a relatively simple plywood box with Euro crates for drawers, it's now
Yeah,
becoming a whole
should be
new
simple.
thing. It's,
Okay.
well, so I'm very, very limited by height. I've got 65 centimeters to 650 mil to
Yeah.
play with. No more. Obviously, I could go less, but I want to maximize the space.
Of course.
So I've gone from having 3 crates in it to 2, a deep one and a slightly shallower one. And then the top was going to be effectively a box that's got a cutting mat on it. And then I was going to cut out a hole with a lid that you lift off. And underneath that lid, there was, backtracking slightly, in my old office drawers, which is a set of, it's like a filing cabinet, but it's just 2 drawers. So they're really, really deep. In one of those drawers, I've got like one of those little cleaning caddies. So like a handle square box with little holes in it. And I've got various glues in there, some rolls of tape, my cutting implements, scissors, craft knife, scalpel, pens, marker pens, pencils, that sort of stuff. So my plan was to transfer all of that into this well, which lives in the top of the rolling cart under a little lid.
Yeah.
And then I thought, why am I having this separate to the cutting mat? Because the cutting mat, I probably wouldn't use the cutting mat on something so low. I'd probably pick up the cutting mat and put it on my desk. So if the whole cutting mat was also a lid, I could have a really big toolbox under the top.
So it's a tray you pick up instead.
Yeah. And this is where it's getting all a bit complicated. So this thing lives under a desk. So anytime I want to use any tool that's stored in it, I'm going to have to unpop the wheels and roll this thing out, take the lid off just to get a pair of scissors.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is where it's turning into a bit of a monster. So I might have to rein it in. And I don't know what I'm going to do next.
Yeah, it sounds like it could be a hassle for stuff that you're using without the cutting mat.
Hmm.
But for everything that has to do with the cutting mat, it seems like a really good place to store them
Hmm.
underneath that.
Maybe I need two wells.
I was thinking that, yes, and modulars you can take the tool part out. But again, you cannot have enough scissors. And I have a like a transparent box just marked leather tools. So I have all the leathering tools in that box. And yes, as a scissor is a part of that setup, but it lives there. It's the leather scissors. So you could come away with having tools in that cart that's only used when the cart is in operation. And then you have a
Yeah.
duplicate of some tools in the workshop elsewhere.
Yeah. You have to remember where this is being located. This is going to be at work. So you've got to make sure
Ah,
that your stuff is locked down
Ah,
because, yeah.
alarm,
and hidden as well.
geofencing, cattle prod. Yes, I scope creep indeed.
Exactly. So what's the big hole at the back for? Oh, that's for the 50,000 volt capacitor and the and the car battery. Should any unauthorized persons try to steal my scissors, they'll get a little tickle.
But I mean, that is then I really understand because it sounds like that lid thing will be kind of like a hidden compartment if you don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So, I mean, then you could, yeah, if to even make your scope creepier, have some kind of you have to put a magnet in the correct place to make something move, and then kachong kachink
Yeah.
to open it, like an Hellraiser cube or something like that, to see
That's a
to make it that no one gets to your scissors.
that's a good plan. I was also thinking about how I could secure the crates in some sort of locking mechanism. I was thinking that maybe just have to put like a metal bar down the front somehow.
Yeah, some kind of decorative, like the people who don't want bars on their windows, but they don't want to be burglar either. So they have some intricate scroll work in
Hmm.
metal or something that looks
Could you
decorative, but it is just locking mechanism.
make it like it looks like it belong there, but it is a container for something that people really do not want to touch. So it's like when people say like you and then just stay away from it.
And what's in the green one? Oh, that's where I keep the fish guts. Yeah. So, well, it's all just flat panels of plywood at the moment, which have received some paint. So, I mean, it's kind of boring. I mean, it's all white at the minute, which is okay, I guess. But a bit like anything, if you haven't bought it for a while, when you go and look at the prices of simple things like paint, it's like,
Yeah.
when did paint get so expensive? Because I just went to B&Q, other big home decorator places are available, and I was just looking at their range of just regular household emulsions, the half-litre tins, and they're like 11, 12 quid.
Yeah.
And then
You
wasn't
could
it?
sorry.
And they weren't particularly interesting colours either. There was a lot of interesting colours, and I had like a handful of them going, no, well, maybe this, maybe this. No, you've got to think in terms of the colours of the crates and the colour of the cutting mat, which is green. So we're looking for some more primary colours here, and I couldn't find anyone that they just didn't have any primary colour paint.
Speaking of interesting colors, you could do like my local hardware store. In the corner of the paint section, they have a palette, and
Mm.
there is mixed paint on that palette, and that's all the paint where people have done something wrong or they put the wrong code in the mixing machine, or so they are off. They're
Oh
almost giving it
yeah.
away. And then, but you have to look at the lid, what kind of color it is. And sometimes the stuff is very helpful that they also dip their finger in the paint and just make a dot on the lid so you can actually see what kind of color. And sometimes you can find a good color there. And of course, it's not enough if you want to paint your house or your living room or whatnot. But for projects, you could probably get away with a lot of cheap paint, but
Hmm.
in a 10-liter can, storage becomes an issue. So, but you could probably get smaller, like quarter pints or half pints, and where you can put paint in and just disregard what you don't need.
Yeah, I'll have to go and have another look. I was in a bit of a rush on Saturday, or was it Sunday? Can't remember.
Does it matter?
No, not really. No. So yeah,
You
it's
only
turning.
need 3 colors, don't you, or 4?
Well, yeah,
Cyan, magenta, yellow, black. You can make all the colors.
that's true. That's true. I don't know if I want to go down the line of mixing all my own paint.
There
I
are
think I'd rather
machines.
just.
There are machines for that. I
There are
wonder what
machines.
they cost.
I haven't got one. More than your what do you call it, hardware store.
Well, I would guess, but I would get a stretch of the way there.
Yeah. So it's a multicolored monster with more things than I know what to do with at the minute. But as a little side event, I'm making a clipboard. That's going to be it was going to be a 1-day build, but obviously I started today and I haven't finished, so it's not a one-day build. Pure and simple, because the very cheap plastic covered cardboard clipboard, what I have, has got a bend in it, and you're holding up clipboard clips. Very nice.
Oh yes.
So that I've got a bit of leftover MDF from the spray paint rack. So that will do. I'll cut out a piece of board about the right size, paint it, rivet on the old clipboard clip, and call it done. So that's currently in primer, and I'll stick some paint on it. I'll finish that tomorrow.
I got genuinely happy today when I realized you're doing a clipboard, because yes, I have 20 clipboard clips because I need more than the 3 clipboards I have, because I bought 3 of these A5 ones and I use them for everything. And then I thought, of course, if I'm making them, I can improve on them. So, of course, because the clipboard it's just a board with a clip on it. It's kind of in the name. And then, of course, you need a pencil holder, right? And then, do I hold them vertically or horizontally when I'm working on it? So where should I place it? And then you should have an eraser. And you start thinking about stuff to put on to make it better, but you're realizing you're just making it worse. So I think a clipboard, the reason why all clipboards look the way they do is that is the ultimate form of a clipboard. I think it's reached its pinnacle. It's like the wheelbarrow, as we discussed earlier. There is no improving in that. That is the best form for that specific thing. Which is,
And it's so simple, and yet a clipboard is really, really powerful.
You look really professional when you have
You
it.
look professional when you have it. You always look busy when you're carrying one. The secret to workplace, looking busy, always be carrying something.
Yeah, and then checking the clipboard as well.
Yeah, I tell you what, nothing shits up a room faster than you just appearing, having a look around, marking something on a clipboard, and going away again.
The one I use for work is one with you fold it in half. You open it up like a book, and then everything is on one side, so no one sees what's on it either.
Oh, yeah.
I open it up and read it, and no one sees. I close it, and no one can see what is on it.
Yep.
I am the
That's even better.
Carry on.
I'm the only one at work that use a clipboard, but it is nice when you're doing concept development, because I do draw a lot, and people have noticed that I also do hand sketches of solutions to problems. But of course, I also do it because I need to keep my hands occupied to be able to think. So if I'm going to concentrate in a meeting, I need to occupy my hands with something. That's not my dick. And then a clip
Because that's frowned
yeah,
upon.
that's frowned upon. No, it just makes me focus.
Apparently.
Yeah, apparently. Um, but it's also a power play, and it felt. I was probably the only one feeling it, but when I started there, it's a new workplace, and I'm the only one using clipboard. But no, it works. But of course, if you have people in the room, it is a bit of a power play because you have it on your lap, so nobody really sees what you're doing, and then you can choose. So every time John is speaking, you just look at him and you take some subtle notes, and you just look at him again, and but you don't touch the pad when everyone else is speaking, just him. It's 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 throwing people off left and right. So yeah. And then
You would never do something like that.
if someone is sitting next to you, they're like kind of leaning in, like right, and then you just like you just tilt it enough so the angle is kind of awkward. Like, no, this is private. So then you really catches the room.
It's when you slam it down on the desk. That's when you know you're commanding a room with your clipboard.
Yeah, the Commander Clippy. That's sounds like
That's actually what my project file in Final Cut's called. It's just called Clippy.
Of course it is.
Wasn't that the name of the Windows help?
Yes, it was.
Yes, all right.
Yep.
I knew I did not pull that out of thin air.
Hey, it looks like you're trying to write a letter. Want some help with that? No. No, thank you, Clippy.
I have been writing letters since before you were code in your father's head. So don't come here and tell me how to write.
Because there was Clippy and then there was that little dog as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, you could swap. You had some choices. So I think it was 3 or 4.
Ah.
Yeah. Maybe one of them was the derivative or the precursor to Ask Jeeves. That also felt very Windowsy.
It was a long time ago. I can't really remember. I just remember there being a dog which could also offer helpful hints on something.
Well, I've never used them, so I don't know.
I remember this was almost pre-internet. There was a sheep. It just said sheep exe, and you just ran it. It was a standalone exe file, and then just a sheep walking on your screen on top of all software. It was small enough that it was not annoying, and it just grazing, and then sometimes it did small stunts and whatnot. So it's like a screensaver, although it was on while you were working. And then after a few years, I upgraded, and then I got a better antivirus software, and I just run it on my old hard drives. And it turns out that sheep, it was riddled with enough viruses to yeah, let's say that it wasn't only ticks that was hiding in that wool. So
You needed some sheep dip.
yeah.
The good old days.
How about you, KJ? What have you been up to?
Well, I just for a couple of hours ago, before we started this recording, more or less, I had a guy over from the company I bought a digger from help me change the faulty cylinder.
Oh, yeah.
So now I have a functional digger again. So that's all.
No
Well and
more droopy bucket for you.
Exactly. The doctor had some pills and he fixed it. So now I have a stiff arm and also have a leftover cylinder that, I mean, it works. It just doesn't hold pressure by itself. So I wonder what I can do with that.
I was kind of thinking, so we just swapped the cylinder, because I mean, unless they're bent or totally ruined, they are serviceable, aren't they? It's probably some
Yeah, I
O-rings
mean,
and
it's
whatnot.
just yes, it's probably some O-rings that's off, but I mean, it is a hassle to actually take it apart. I've seen people do that kind of stuff online. It seems like all the work, and I mean, it is functional if you just want the movement. like if you're going to build a log splitter or something like that. So it will be work for that. So I am just going to keep it around until I figure out something better to do with it, or just use it scrap metal for something, perhaps. I don't know. But that's good at least, because it's really been. I wanted to do some digging, but you really want it to function. And at that point, it also felt good not buying the digger directly from China. I guess. I mean, sure, having parts delivered from Germany, it was akin to the parts coming from was it Italy for your car, or
Yeah. Yep.
it took a while. Then he had to remind them several times. He said, but just having it arrived earlier today, and he just came around after he'd done some deliveries and helped me with it. So it took like 20 minutes. It would have taken me 2 hours at least doing it by myself. So that was nice of him.
Nice. And you didn't have to load it back on a pallet and send it to China for service.
Yeah, exactly. And I also managed. It became a one-day build. I surprised myself. Made roller tops for my mobile stands, so easily work with pipes. I mean, it's just two wheels that you put the pipe in between, so you can spin it freely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm planning to do some work with the lampposts, and those are big and heavy and cylindrical. So that will hopefully make that easier. Not having them fall over the place and have to change a lot of gripping and that sort of thing when you want to attack them from the other side. And hopefully it will help me cut them straighter as well, because that could be interesting otherwise.
Yes, I remember a hilarious. Back in the good old days when we had overhead projectors hanging from poles from the ceiling.
Yeah.
These things came as kits. You got a very, very long pole, and then you had to cut them down to the length that you needed them so they come down from the ceiling. And a lot of these, generally, these were mild steel, and you could just cut them with a hacksaw. And then this one time we got this kit in, it was like some sort of heavy duty thing. And this was basically like bloody scaffold pole. So I'm going to need an angle grinder for this. And I didn't have anything to really hold it with. So I just had a breeze block and holding the pole up against the breeze block with my foot and going at it with a borrowed angle grinder with completely the wrong disc on it. I made it shorter, but it was not pretty. And it was not square. But enough rounds of insulation tape around the end. It looked fine. That's the thing with it, with our department of, well, if you want a professional installation, call some professional installers. Oh, you don't want to spend the money? Okay, well then you get a bodge job.
Yeah, it will work, but it won't be pretty.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just like you.
Thank you. It's not just good; it's good enough.
Exactly. And you should leave good enough alone.
Yep. If it works.
But other than that, I don't think I've done anything worth noting. Been a lot of garden work and all of that, and everything that has to do with summer. But I think that's about it.
I am so unbelievably done with summer. It's only 7 weeks till autumn. We're just holding on to that.
And you haven't started holiday yet, or?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I'm on my 2-week break.
Ooh.
Yes, I know. There's massive. This fortnight off.
And done already. That was quick.
Yeah. Now I'm done with being hot, and the forecast says it's just going to be hot. Well, the forecast runs for 10 days, and it just says hot for 10 days. No rain, 30 degrees or more every day for the next 10 days, and beyond we don't know. And it's horrible.
It's the same here, but you get these pleasant surprises because with this hot weather, you have a lot of uh, well, of course,
Ice cream.
yeah, that too. But we have a lot of uh, what's it called, evaporation going on. So of course, in the evening, you get thunderstorms, which I really love. Just sitting outside, looking and counting the seconds between you. You see the flash, and you can hear the thunder, and you have a cup of coffee, and it's raining, hitting the tin roof of the garden shed. That is brilliant. And of course, after half an hour, then it's just extremely humid. Not just only hot, but yeah, it's also humid. So it has its drawbacks, but still.
Yeah, I do like a good summer storm. Any old storm's good. Summer storms are. The best one I saw was when I was on holiday in south of France, probably, oh, bloody hell, 25 or more years ago. And that was proper, in the afternoon, it started getting heavy and you could smell the rain coming.
Oh yeah.
And it was a glorious blue day. And then just this wall of black comes towards you. And it's proper shaking the, the glass in the window panes and absolutely thrashing it down with rain and blue fault lightning, the whole bit. Incredible.
I think that got imprinted in me when I was a kid, probably 5, 6, 7 years old, visiting my grandmother. And the problem is, you can't get this soundscape on any app today to fall asleep to, because my grandmother's house was an old house, two-story house. So, and right to the seafront and open seas and whatnot. So when the storms were coming in, they were really shaking the house to the point where it was creaking at every joint, and it was a timber building. And of course, I was sleeping upstairs, and my parents and my grandparents, they were sitting downstairs and talking. So you had that safe. You couldn't hear what they were talking about, but you could hear that mumbling going on downstairs. So yes, my parents are still here. I'm not alone in this old house. And then you had the creaking sounds, and you had the storm outside, and the rain hitting the roof. The combination of all those sounds, it's the best sounds to fall asleep to. But as I said, you can't buy those as a soundscape today, and it's too late to record them. So it's just a memory, but a good one.
You could feed that into an AI and ask it to generate it.
Fuck off.
Or just do an audio recording course. The what's it called? Foliage. Yeah.
Oh,
Foliage.
Foley artist, yeah.
Foley artist, exactly.
Foliage is flowers.
Yes, I
Flower
realized that
sounds.
when I said it. So this is close to what it's supposed,
Oh!
but you got it all.
There's a fucking skit in there somewhere. Turned up. I wanted to be a foliage artist. Like, we're just running around in the forest smelling leaves. What the fuck?
So do you remember
That
episode
sounds
of
like
Bottom?
a Peep Show. That is written all over it.
There's that episode of Bottom, isn't there, where he hires a private investigator, and all he's just spent a week staring at a hedge. Turns out he'd hired a private investigator.
Ah,
Oh, stupid.
wasn't it? I'm not sure if this was just something I read, but you have this British YouTuber, Max Forsh. Didn't he hire two private investigators and just turned them on to each other? Like, I need you to follow this guy, and gave them the address and just paid them for a week to follow each other? Or was that just something I'm dreaming up? But that would be a brilliant concept, that.
Yeah, they will make it sort of like a Channel 5 documentary. Channel 5 entertainment show. I don't know that YouTuber's name, but I will scribble it down and we'll have a look at it in the other place.
Yes.
That makes it sound far worse than it is.
the, the other side.
The one that shouldn't be mentioned.
The dark side. You say his name? Max Forsh.
Max Forsh, yeah.
Fosh.
He do a lot of like these public stunts. I think he at one airport he rented a big field next to the airport just to write in huge letters "Welcome to Brighton" or something, and it was outside of Heathrow just to throw passengers off. He got into the news.
That's kind of funny, actually.
He also made a company and with set amount of stocks, and then he sold one stock to a random person for £50, and by that metrics, then with all the stocks he had, he was then a billionaire for a second until the finance or something would deem this foul play, and it's like stunts like this. It's really funny.
Yeah, that's starting to ring a bell now. Maybe. I'll have a look.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else for the main episode? That is.
Ooh.
I don't know. Have you got anything else for the main episode?
No.
Doesn't sound like it. So then we say thank you for listening to this episode 148 of the Make Crude Mistakes podcast. And hopefully you'll be back next week again.
Most likely.
Do you say that our listeners are animals of habit?
Well, aren't we all? But I'm just referencing the heat.
Yeah.
I mean, we might have succumbed to the drought. What's the word of dying of thirst? Because you're not dying of thirst, you're dying of dehydration. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah.
Just be 3 very leathery prunes here next week. Built anything? No.
As in different to. Oh, never mind. All right.
I am very well hydrated. I'll let you know.
Yeah. And remember to hydrate, dear listener. Go grab yourself some kind of beverage.
Have
Possibly,
a beverage and stay away of any overhead camera wires. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.